I almost sneezed there. Yeah, what's up? Welcome to the Boardcast.
It is a morning.
That was completely
Yeah,
candid. My fault, gang.
I thought you were going to go straight into full cough just to lead into the podcast.
It was halfway between like a cough and a sneeze, and it ended up being nothing. So
I've thought about
We're later
what if
find out
we-
just shit his parents.
I've thought about what if we intro a podcast episode like real quiet and then we get really loud and then people in their car driving have to be like fuck. So
You know, I know it's like common knowledge. You know, like Spotify does that with adverts. You'll be
Yeah.
like listening to a podcast, and all of a sudden, someone's yelling about like ED medicine, like screaming down your neck. It's fucking crazy.
I was one of those-
I've never had that.
Yeah, well, I'm 33. It knows the demographic well.
I was one of those pobo kids when Spotify first came around and I was like, I don't want to pay for subscription, so I just copped the Spotify ads.
Yeah, terrible.
It'd just be PTSD.
on like desktop, it wasn't too bad. Like every few songs, you get like a 15-second ad. It was manageable on desktop, and then I tried to use free Spotify on mobile for the first time, and I was like, I'm gonna throw this bitch
You
out.
get 2 songs max,
Is it really
it's-
2 songs?
So
and then an ad hits you for like 30 seconds.
it's like an unskippable ad. You can't, like, if I wanted to play a song from a playlist, it doesn't let you. It pops up and it's like, that's a premium feature.
You only get, you only
have
get
to-
shuffle.
You have to press shuffle on the playlist, and after it was something like 5 or 6 songs, it starts going, here's things recommended on what you're listening to. And so it's like,
It's other random
it's,
stuff.
You know,
yeah.
I would be
Oh.
okay with the ads if they were just trying to sell me something, but the Spotify ads were like sarcastic. They were like on purposely loud, and Spotify was like, hey, am I disturbing your music? Instead of me, you can have Spotify Premium. I'm like, fuck!
It's like,
I hate you so
it's
much.
like sensual ASMR that's trying to make you like kill them instead of jerk off.
Well, I pay for Spotify clearly, and like I feel like that's also being a bit buggy at the moment. Like I've had 2 problems recently where when I turn the DJ, like the AI DJ on and that recommends songs in that playlist, it's been getting it wrong. So I've listened to like my 2000s like emo music, and it keeps putting Prodigy songs in the middle of it, which is like fairly like mid-range EDM. It's like not the same vibe whatsoever. And then recently, the targeted ads have been completely off as well, and it keeps giving me American stuff. So it's mostly boring things like, like a MailChimp or a moving company that is only in the US.
Yeah.
But one of them was because in America they can advertise drugs way differently than they can in Australia, right?
I mean, they're allowed to advertise medication.
Yeah,
Full
medication.
stop, which
So I keep getting this. I'll see if I can find and clip it to put it on the Instagram, because what it does, it's a liver cancer medication. The liver cancer part is like maybe 4 seconds of the ad, and then it's probably 22 seconds of all of the other things that it causes. And it's actually
Holy shit.
I played it in the warehouse at Frost Up for the boys.
It's the small text on those
Yes.
stock
And
dick pills.
It's more than 4 or 5 times the length of the advert for the product itself, and it's like you'll bleed anally. It says all the crazy shit like hemorrhaging on the brain. all
Might
this other
solve
stuff, like,
liver cancer.
Yeah.
Quotation marks will kill you.
yeah, will also give you liver cancer.
the final result. Well, it's very much like you'll
Because
survive.
your liver has to process the pill, right? So it gets to the liver, and the liver doesn't know what the fuck it's doing.
It rejects it, shoots it back out. It's like
Just imagining you pissing out a fully formed pill that looks different to the one you swallowed.
You go back to the doctor. Did it work?
on a completely off topic on that one. There was this someone did a research paper that released a couple of weeks ago, and it was a roller coaster at Disneyland, and it has been shown to 75% of the time move people's kidney stones. So the movement of it,
Ooh.
and the guy Disneyland
Doctors recommend this
Yeah.
roller coaster.
So Disneyland, he noticed in a few patients that had been there, and so the Disneyland allowed him to do a test where he put like a fake. I don't really understand kidney stones that much, but whatever the part of that it gets caught in, he put like a test one of those on the thing, and it rode the thing 200 times, and it proved to pass through the pin 75% of the time. That's pretty cool, man.
Oh my, that's
So like,
Well, I need notes.
that's fucking awesome.
yeah. So you could just, if you got like
The way I drink soda, I'm gonna need that.
Dude, imagine getting doctor prescribed roller coaster rides. That's fucking awesome.
How do you guys feel about roller coasters?
I
you guys
love
big roller
roller
coaster
coasters.
people?
Well, if I'm now more worried that I might shoot rocks out of my penis while I'm on one. You imagine why you're upside down, spiraling through the air, like wee, and then all of a sudden something falls out of your penis.
So,
You're like, oh,
me,
shit.
Danny, we have pretty similar music tastes, right? We listen to a lot of hip hop, R&B, but I know Wade, you listen to specifically more in the metal genre. You're wearing a metal shirt right now.
I'm currently wearing. I'll do you one better. I'm wearing 3 different band shirts. So
Shit.
So, because I always wear if I'm going to the gym at any stage in the day, I'll wear my like cut off singlet. And they're all
So you're
just
always
t-shirts.
ready for the gym, just in
Pretty
case.
much. If I'm planning to go to the gym, so
If he trips over and falls into a gym, he's ready.
Yeah. But all my gym shirts are like just band shirts I've got and cut the sleeves off of. So I've got
That's actually a pretty good idea.
yeah. So I've got a To the Grave singlet as my base layer, and then I've got a Lorna Shore tour shirt as my
Classic
middle layer.
metal imagery right there.
Yeah.
And then Sedative, my
What-
boys, local Perth band, shout out.
So what
Love Is
genre
Not
of metal
Enough
would you
out
say
now.
they are?
They're all deathcore bands.
Gotcha.
It means screaming where you can't hear anything that's going on.
I kind of get it. Did you listen to Screamo as a kid?
Wade makes me look like a pussy because all of my stuff is like metalcore. So like closer to like Slipknot and like 36 Crazy Fists and stuff, right? Which are
Yeah,
like,
so two not metalcore bands.
yeah. Well, it was when I was a kid.
Well, that's so like those are both new metal bands. There's like a lot of contention. So metal fans are the worst people on earth.
Correct. There's too many genres and I don't know what's going on. And remember,
Yeah.
my entire setup was created off LimeWire. My like background of understanding metal or any music genre was from LimeWire, where everything was incorrect to begin with. So I would Google like playlist of like this genre and it'd be just whatever. Sometimes there'd be a little bit of Shaggy in my metal. You know what I mean? It's like you just get whatever LimeWire gives you, and that's the foundation of my understanding.
I was your mates would just share you his playlist, and we just like back and forward sharing files. And sometimes you also just get like, oh, Beyonce's on here. So
Excuse me, sorry.
what got you into the metal genre?
So
Depression.
Depression?
that helped. So it was mostly my dad.
The desire to fight people. Is what I imagine.
No, it was as much as my mum hates it because like she's gotten used to it over the years, but still like every now and then I'll like walk in the house with my pale face Swiss shirt that says like "This world is fucked" on the back, and she's like, I don't like this music. You used to be such a nice boy.
That's a nice little boy.
Well, all parents know that your kid just wants to be the opposite of what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm still a nice boy. I just also listen to stuff that sounds like,
Yeah.
like
I've always found like especially going to like a lot of festivals over the years, like the hardcore metal guy is often the nicest guy there.
Yeah,
he just
you're
likes,
right,
he's
you're
just
right,
like screaming.
you're
That's okay.
yeah, and like, it is a very like divisive thing. Like people hate it for. I mean, like I understand it's very grating. Especially like there's stuff that I listen to now that like I heard for the first time when I was in high school when I like wasn't super into it and I was like, what the fuck is this?
I always found I could enjoy like a live version of some of the more like heavier metal than I could that I'd listen to in the car or on Spotify or whatever. So when back in the day when you still have festivals like Soundwave, I would go watch, and again this is compared to what you're listening to is nowhere near as much, but like I'd go watch like Lamb of God or something there, but I would never just casually listen to that and thing. But it was part of being in the concert and the atmosphere and everything else happening around, which made it far more like, I don't know, like enjoyable.
I think for me, the metal genre, especially the type of music you listen to, Wade, a lot of it is energy based, right? Like what like the type of environment, how it provides you, that feeling it provides you. So I know because you gym a lot. I imagine you listen to that music when you gym.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
the aggression of it helps you push through.
Yeah, I mean, that is because like this year I've really gotten like a lot more into it. Like this within the past year, I used to like I still listen to it a lot, but like kind of passively, like I'd have like the few bands I liked and I'd listen to them, but I didn't really like explore more.
I have to know, when you listen to the music, do you get the lyrics?
No, so I'm might be a bit of an odd one in this regard because like I've spoken to a lot of people who are like, if I don't vibe with the lyrics, like I just don't connect with the music, and I'm like,
Nod your head.
I'm like,
you can hear the lyrics?
brother, for a lot of this music, like I kind of just treat the vocals as another instrument.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because like with the more metalcore side of things, like it is even like there's just the screams are different. Like so it is a bit clearer, but yeah, like there's been times where I've like looked up the lyrics and been like, oh, it's like not really what I thought it was. Like I'm sure if I sat down and like listened to it and had to think about it, I could tell you what they're saying, but like I don't actively really follow along in that way.
Yeah, but you're right that the lyricist is just another instrument on top of everything else, and all of that's like fast, aggressive, kind of like
Yeah, like Fit for
Get
an
you in the
Autopsy
mood.
are probably like the most what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's the most like coherent like vocals within like deathcore.
What I do enjoy is there's a part of Instagram where they take the grindcore, deathcore logos,
Yeah.
and the guy just like translates the logo. Like it would just be a mess of like lines and patterns and
I
squiggles,
see,
and he'll be
so,
like,
yeah.
yeah, so this band actually says super mega death, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or there's the one where it's like the like Wordle type thing where you've got like a daily puzzle where it's just like this super fucked logo, and he's like, all right, so I think this could be an S, and I think maybe there's an A there,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 he's just like,
But I
lost.
entirely think it's now just a bit where every band tries to make the hardest to read logo, and it's just kind of the bit now.
There are
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
some, but it's very much like a tradition of like death metal to
the
be like,
culture.
all right, this is how like things look like. So you kind of just ape what other bands are doing. Like there's bands that have like the super illegible, hard to read logo that also have like, all right, here's the newer version of our logo, which is like you can read it.
Yeah,
It's-
our branding marketer told us that we had to have this also.
yeah.
I do find the illegibility of some of the words going through the lyrics is very common though, because I think no matter what genre you're in, if you go back and look at some of the lyrics of songs that you really like, and then you see the real lyrics of compared to what you've been singing for a very long time, you're like, oh, it's ruined it now. It's like
Yeah.
I liked my version
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
head that I got used to.
I mean, particularly when it comes to like early deathcore stuff, like Whitechapel, incredible band, incredible like lyricism in some regards, and then you look back at their first album and you're like, this feels like a hate crime against women. It's like it was thematic, it was for a reason, but it's still it does kind of leave a sour taste in your mouth if you
Yeah.
actually go and like
Just
analyze.
vibing with the rhythm was better in the first place, right?
yeah.
So straight to the gym after this, huh?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
we'll see what the vibes
I
are.
know Danny, long-time gym goer. Wade, you've been gymming for a really long time as well. And I'm like aspiring gym goer. I've been going pretty consistently for the last 6 months. How are you guys feeling about it?
Dude, you're ready. Hop on cycle.
Yeah? we're right back. You know, would you believe, Wade, that we do talk about steroids surprisingly amount on this podcast?
On this hobby podcast is
I keep telling myself, I'm not going to go on keto. I'm not going to go on steroids. And then I sit at home and I'm like, I'm just be like, I don't know.
I'd
like,
love- what
drinking
I'll-
a cup of tea, listening to you, Kanye West, and I'll be like, yeah, I should go on steroids.
Still?
you know what I'd like to see is like if there's a specific kind of pattern of us talking to it throughout the episodes of the podcast, and if that then relates to a cycle. See if it's like we have our own cycle if it comes up every now and again.
Yeah.
Usually it's related to some sort of Olympics thing, but it's like
I can't risk acne again, though. I can't do that again.
did you get it bad when you were a teenager?
Nah, it was just more like I get the acne scars. I don't get acne super bad, but I got the acne scars. So,
There's no scarring on your face, so I assume the rest of your body is just ravaged.
ooh. Maybe it's my self-consciousness then. Ooh. But yeah, how long have you been gymming for, Wade?
So
Because I've known you for a while, and I
Yes.
think you've always been large, but for the last...
thank you.
No, is it a good way?
Before you were really fat, but now you look
No.
alright.
What I've gathered from people that go to the gym is that like dudes who go to the gym want to be called like you don't want to be called cute or handsome anymore. You want to be called massive,
Wrong.
and jacked.
You want the dudes to call you massive, but you still
Yeah.
need the girls to think you're cute.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I
But yeah,
mean-
so wait, I've always known you as a a pretty big guy, right?
That's because
But
you're a
for-
guy that still looks cute. So that tap's turned off for
My-
me.
my
So
baby
trust me,
face.
when it goes
You
away,
get the
you'll
best
miss
of
it.
you get the best of both worlds here, right? But then for the last 2 years, I've known you to become really jacked. Like you've started
I
getting really
appreciate
strong.
that. Thank you. So I've actually been kind of like off and on. Just so the distinction I make is I worked out for years. I didn't start training until like a few years ago. Like it sounds fucking wankery, but like that kind of is. Like I think when you do start to take it more seriously and follow something a bit more like structured and like because for years I would go into the gym every however many times a week and kind of just fuck around, like do a bunch of nonsense, like I had a friend at the time who like he's like, oh, let's do this, and so we'd follow a program, quote unquote program, for like 3 weeks that we wouldn't actually record anything. We'd just go, oh, I think we did this last week, and then you'd go in after 2 weeks, and he's
So-
like, "Oh, I want to try something new this
Yeah.
time." And so it was just a lot of that for like years, and going in because I thought that was how I stopped myself from being fat, and like, classic like
Yeah, of course.
not pushing myself, not like
Did you consider yourself overweight when you were younger?
I was, yeah. It like there's no considerations about it. I just
and
I just was.
at what age did you start gymming properly? You reckon?
Probably 22. I want to say.
It's a pretty healthy age to start hitting the gym. I reckon.
Yeah, but so I first started going to the gym when I was like 14.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's pretty good though. Like most kids don't have the nuance to start there without some sort of directive from their parents as well.
I mean that I think that's literally what it was. Is I wasn't playing sports at the time, and so mum was like, you've got to do something. And there was a gym like literally at the end of the street, because like we lived in a cul-de-sac that like backed onto a main road.
Right,
and so like
we're doxing. You've got a lot of information there, boys. You got main road, cul-de-sac, and gym at the end. We can figure out where his
yeah,
parents live.
I mean, look, that describes far more streets than you'd think. But also like, the gym's not there anymore.
Yeah. Sure.
It's actually not. It's been through so many changes of ownership, and now I think it's just been an empty
So
building for like
I consider
5 years.
myself kind of in that phase right now where I'm just grabbing YouTube
Business opportunity
videos.
for you, Wade.
I'm grabbing YouTube videos and kind of figuring out, but those newbie gains, like my body, like I'm starting at a baseline, right? I've been gymmed for the last probably like 6 years, and I'm back in the gym properly. And like from that baseline, I've been growing actually progressing at a pretty rapid rate. Those newbie gains.
Yeah.
I'm curious when those newbie gains start tipping off.
Usually like 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean-
Consistency and training. Usually 10 weeks, you hit that first hard plateau that's hard to get past.
Yeah, but even then, it's like it's not. It doesn't really like stop there. It like
Slows down.
yeah, and so the thing is, a lot of people don't realize just how much more they can like get out of their newbie gains, because like. My thing is always like, I wasted my newbie gains because I spent like literally years doing a whole bunch of nonsense. But like, I know I still had like a decent amount. Like, I still don't really get how it works, how like biologically. But yeah, like
I don't know. This is bro science at this point, but I
Yeah.
think the human body wants to get to a certain point. Like it wants to, like the human body is like, oh, well, we want to grow to a certain level of like, this is general strength.
Well, you have a natural
Yeah.
maximum of what you can push your muscles to, and then it's significant amount of more extra work on top of that. And the
build past
consistency
that,
is really what the key is there, because you can
Yeah.
you can just really slowly build up after that time, but it's forcing your body to make those changes, because your body will have a natural position that it wants to sit at, but it also depends on what your daily level of exercise and work ethic is like in. So if you're a guy who has a laboring job and you're constantly doing this kind of exercise, you'll naturally see a significant growth in those parts of the muscles that you're
Yeah.
just working on a daily, and no amount of gym is going to match that, because you're doing that like 6 to 8 hours every day. You know what I mean? So that those people have those positions. That's why you see someone like cycles like 3 or 4 times a week. They're just going to have like massive legs.
Gigantic hamstring.
Yeah. Yes, and that's going to happen. Is like you can't, no matter like it's going to have to a lot of gymming to match the fact that he's doing like 20 hours of cycling a week.
yeah, and the other thing is like diet is it's such a like not cliche, but like it's such a thing that everyone talks about that I hate the fact that it's true, because like I literally spent years working my fucking ass off in the gym, like doing the right thing, like following a program, like working super hard, and then hitting like hard plateaus, and I'm like, I don't understand.
How long did it take for you to get to that plateau? Do you reckon? A year, 2 years, 3 years?
It really depends, because like I also spent quite a few years doing the classic like I want to get bigger and leaner at the same time, so I was just like under eating.
Oh, that's what I'm doing right now.
And yeah, and that's not like ideal for strength.
It's two opposite goals essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But the brain wants abs, right?
But I didn't want abs. I wanted pants that fit.
Yeah, I get it.
That's a noble goal.
But yeah, like I spent years working super hard and like making barely any progress, when it's like I would have made a million times more progress if I'd been like just eating clean.
Yeah.
Because like eating, like calorically speaking, like eating, if I was eating the same calories that I was, like, because I'd reduce my calories but just do what was easy. But it just like the macros didn't like
Match up
to my goals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like just it is such a like everyone knows it deep down, but like some like there's some people who will like me who are like, I do all the right things. I work out hard. I've like cut down what I'm eating. This, that, and the other. And it's like sick, man. I'm still only getting 100 grams of protein.
Yeah. The reality is like a lot of like modern science, and it does because for the average person who's trying to be more realistic about their goals, there are a lot of people like, well, you just have to eat the right amount of macros and calories a day, and it doesn't really matter what too much it is. But when you see a lot of like actors, they go on their diets, and like professional trainers when they go up to like bodybuilding shows and stuff, those trainers are getting those people to eat the exact same food 3 meals a day, exactly the same. And it's really boring, but it's the 100% the best way to make sure that you hit the exact calories and macros that you need, and you're not overspending or underspending on your food like allowances, and just consistency all the way through.
And it's letting your body process it, because you're not like I've got issues with digestion on occasion, and it's half the time it's because I'm like I'm hitting the same macros but switching up my diet like entirely, and I'm like yeah, this is crazy. Like I haven't pooped in 4 days. And there's like no rhyme or reason to it, but it's because I'm like, my body just doesn't process certain things as well as it processes others. And I'm like, all right, well, that was nice. It tasted good, but I guess I have to go back to eating chicken breast and white rice.
It makes sense fundamentally, because your food is straight up, you're putting it inside of you. It is the energy that is your body. Is your body's in like 50% of your body is designed to process what you eat.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a significant part of what you live. I sincerely believe what you eat is significantly more than physical activity, and just not so much for like not for weight, not for like gaining muscle and such, but for maintaining your weight and general health. If you just
brain function.
If you just eat better, I think you'll be better off.
Yeah.
Significantly. You don't have to go out and jog. You don't have to go out and do crazy cardio. If you just eat better, you will find significant progress.
Yeah.
And that was for me for the last before I got into for the last half decade, I wasn't a very fit person, right? Been pretty like sitting on my chair all day long, not eating great. And then over the course of the last 2 years, I really kind of restructured my diet and changed how I think about my eating and my physical activity. And I'm at a better point now where I realize now I don't need the sugary drinks. You know, I can eat a little less carbs here and there. You don't have to be scared of protein. You can have plenty of that as well. It's fine. I don't have to slam in the gym super hard. I don't have to go out and I don't have to fear, the treadmill and nothing. I can go on the treadmill for a little bit, but really, if you want to like lose fat, it's just eat better.
Yeah, the diet. And the hobbies that we're in, like, the Warhammer or the cards or the video games or the reading, they're all very sedentary, like lifestyle hobbies.
Yeah.
And it's very hard because they're things that I think we all have that little bit of like, we're not able to like, spectrum you'd like to put it on, but we get really excited and involved in the thing we're doing.
We like to sit down and play our games.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
And time disappears quite quickly. So it's really easy to be like, well, I won't go to the gym, before you get into the rhythm of it. It's really to be like, oh, I'm just going to play my video game for 2 hours, then I'll go to the gym. And then it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you're like, fuck.
I realize now that first 2 to 3 weeks is so critical. Those first 2 to 3 weeks and trying to get yourself back into the gym is like where it makes or breaks it. If you have to push past that first 3 weeks, everything starts making sense again.
I mean, I think it's all not just with the gym, like with anything. It's too many people burn out because they like throw themselves into this thing with too much vigor, and then they are like not enjoying it because they're going super hard on it. Yeah, like when I have had to take time off for the gym for whatever, like I hurt my back really badly at the start of this year, and also last year and the year before.
Are they gym related items or what?
Yes, they are at the gym. So
you're getting to old man age. We need to stretch before you go in, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my progress, both in terms of like my weight loss and my just like gym progress, has been stunted by the amount of times that I've hurt myself.
Yeah.
So I've hurt both of my rotator cuffs in some capacity, like multiple times each year since.
And rotator cuffs are hard because there's something that also will then intrinsically come up continuously from now on as well. If you have to be very mindful about how you manage those injuries.
I've been trying to do a lot of rotator cuff exercises because I keep hearing from Wade how you keep injuring it, and I keep hearing from the internet how people keep injuring it, right?
Yeah.
So 2 times a week now when I go to the gym, I do a bunch of like the rotator cuff exercises.
Yeah, and
just to strengthen the general shoulder area.
Because a lot of people have the problem of doing it after they've hurt themselves, and they need to recover. And so you're always, but like they still want to make progress and like do their workouts. And so they're chasing normal.
Yeah.
Which that like, and then they're always like, like this sucks. My rotator cuff still hurts.
Yeah.
It's still stiff and that. So yeah, like like any of my friends that start asking me questions about going to the gym, I'm like not even just for the gym specifically. I'm like, shoulder health is like super important. Like as because my rotator cuffs are a me problem. That's something I've done to myself. I've just gotten every other bad joint from both of my parents.
Yeah.
So both of my parents have combined their powers to give me just like dodgy knees, ankles, wrists, elbows, back,
The
hips.
Captain Planet version of like terrible ligaments.
Do you take supplements for like joint health and such?
I do, not as often as I should.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so many old people, like older people, like not even like the elderly, like there's the amount of people that I've met who are like 50 and like can't lift their arms above their head.
Right.
Because they've
You're also
just,
going to
like,
piss
lost
off a few of our
mobility.
listeners calling the 50s old people.
Well, twice my age is old by definition. Sorry. I mean, like I also corrected myself. Older people, meaning older than any of us in this room.
I've
all right?
successfully made it awkward. Perfect.
All right.
Is it worse if I call them boomers?
Hey, how about this? I was born in the year 2000. Feel old now?
I do.
Yeah.
Boy, I was talking to Sarissa the other day, and I gathered I don't think she knows what 9/11 is.
That's amazing. I guess why would she though? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It was
but-
before
What do you mean?
her
Why
lifetime.
would she? Why wouldn't you?
Well, like
I was not like cognizant during 9/11. I still it happened when I was
Yeah,
1.5 years old.
But it's still,
I
you
still
were still
know.
affected by it. You remember it. Yeah. It happened.
I was in
I
primary
don't
school.
remember it.
I remember.
I
As
was-
in, but you remember
I
like
was
you remember it still
baby.
happened, right? It happened. Was as in, like
one of my first so I have a very like strange collection of memories that I consider my first memories that are all kind of like
I get it. Yeah.
like
The fragments.
yeah, it's like there's also I don't remember. There's like a name for it, but it's basically like manufactured memories where like people have told you about things or
Correct,
like
You're not sure if they're real.
So there's every chance it's just been like someone's told me something happened and I've gone, oh yeah,
Process into a memory.
But either way, like I've since I was like little, I've maintained some of my first memories, and it hasn't really changed. So I'm like, I'm gonna say it's real. It's real enough. One of them was so my granddad was missing a toe. He was missing one of his big toes, and I just have a memory of like freaking out as like a child because I was like playing on the floor and he like took his slippers off and I was like, and one of these other memories is like seeing 9/11 footage. But it wasn't until I was like a bit older that I kind of put like the timeline together and I'm like, I wouldn't have been
after the
seeing it.
fact?
Yeah, I'm like, I wouldn't have been seeing it as it happened. So I'm like, I don't understand where that comes from.
Yeah.
Like, but I think I think it must have just been like a few years on being like, shit, this is like the news being like, this is what happened
Super
2
relevant,
years
yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
3 years
I
ago.
got a real stupid one. I would think I was probably not a clue, probably 3 years old, and I had a distinct memory. I was sitting in front of the TV, and I told myself I will remember this moment for the rest of my life. And I was like, I'm just gonna try
and you
I
locked
just,
it in?
I just focused real hard on that one point of the TV, and I was like, I'm gonna remember this moment. And for some reason, like, I just still remember that moment.
What was it?
I
What-
manufactured my own memory at 3 years old.
Was it like Fat Cat or something? What
No,
was
it
it?
was just something stupid. I was sitting there bored in front of the TV. That's all it was.
Do you remember what you were watching?
Yeah,
memory-
it was a Korean drama. My mum was watching Korean TV.
Beast, yeah.
I love that. Sorry, as a guy who's been to uni for a long time and learned a lot of important skills, that's the thing he chose to lock
Yeah,
in.
thanks, brain. I gotta remember like essential things for my work.
Are
and
you
I
ever
can't.
sitting in like lectures at class and be like, I'm gonna remember this?
And I just remember me 3 years old in front of a TV.
Yeah. I mean, that's a thing that like I know a
You
surprising
can do
amount
that
of people.
right now. If you just think really hard, I'm gonna remember this moment for the rest
I
of my
can't.
life.
I can't do that for
Just
shit.
take this frame of picture, this room right now, and at 80 years old, you'll be like, oh, I remember that one time I was with Wade on the podcast.
I mean, that is a thing that like a surprising amount of people like I know multiple people who have a very similar like I will remember this moment thing. I mean, but also like, you know, sitting in a lecture and thinking about how you're like, I'm gonna remember this. I'm gonna
please, brain. I need this.
What your brain remembers is thinking about how hard you're thinking. And so I'm like I've got multiple lectures where like I walk out of that lecture and I'm like, I took notes, I followed along the entire time. I could not tell you a single thing that happened. What I do remember is being like,
shit, I need to remember this.
Being like, shit, I'm not keeping up. I'm not remembering well enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talk about this a lot. It's like, I feel like because my ADHD is very much, there's a significant short-term memory loss. Like I just
both of you have ADHD.
I just eject it. Like information is just gone, and like quite often like it's not even that I don't even process it in the first place. Somebody be talking to my face, and I'm thinking about something different, and I would be like, I didn't listen to you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you do that again? And then sometimes it happens a second time. And I'm like, fuck it, doesn't matter. Whatever happened didn't matter. And I quite often think I'll have memories from childhood. And then as I got older and realized I definitely don't have memories of childhood, I realized a lot of the memories that I thought I had are just photos that I find that my mum showed me. And my memory is just whatever's in that photo. And I can't tell you anything outside of that photo. Yeah. So my memory is actually just seeing the photo, never from the original time that the thing occurred.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of like having like an out of body experience sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, I really remember me watching me do that. And I was like, no, I can't remember me watching myself do it. It's just me remembering my mum watching me do it and through a photo. It's crazy. And like, cause you know, I'm a little bit older, so our photos were never digital when we were kids. They're in like picture books.
Yeah.
So they're not readily available around the place. And every now and again, like on my son's birthday or something, she'll pull up like a physical photo album, and she'll flip through and she'll show us. And I'm like, oh, I thought that was like a core memory of my childhood, but I'm not. It's just my mum taking a Kodak photo. Like, you know what I mean?
You ever injured yourself when you're gymming? You ever have any significant injuries?
Not gymming. I've injured myself at work. I have to really approach my gym sessions with very mindful of that. My job is incredibly physical, so I can't do anything that's over the top that's going to affect my day because, you know, especially up until probably like the last 6 months, if I ever had to take a week off the truck, my entire business situation might collapse itself into the ground.
Right,
you know, like the primary in-source has always been that. So I have to be mindful, like when I'm carrying tiles upstairs or timbering people's houses or even like clutching the truck or climbing up and down the crane. If I go to the gym and blow out my rotator cuff and now it's going to make me incredibly hard to do my job and earn that money, I have to be mindful of that. But I really do appreciate the fact of what I've learned and the skills I've learned through the gym, because it means I can approach all of those really physical jobs significantly better. So like when I'm lifting tiles and stuff like that off the ground, sometimes they're 30, 40, 50 kilos. Going to the gym teaches you how important it is to like keep your back straight and draw the weight in. So the way that I carry tiles is very much, you know, those stupid like signs where it's like you've the guy picking the box up.
Box,
yeah,
how to lift with your knees.
Most people completely ignore that. Like, you know, just working, right?
And like you'll probably be able to do the physical aspect of your job for like as much as capitalist hellscape, like for a lot longer.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Because like you're approaching it in a smart way as opposed to like, you know, you hear about it all the time. Like the blue collar workers, tradies who like
just nuke their bodies,
who will get the job done and will be absolute workhorses. And then they hit a certain age and they're just like, oh,
they're fighting
move
against their biology.
And you're 100% correct.
Like,
the pains. The guys that I've worked with doing the same job for like nearly 15 years now, they're all cooked. Absolutely, their bodies are cooked. Like two of the guys I know, all the cartilage has gone in their toes from like carrying things. A lot of their backs are gone because
the toes.
Yeah, because you're just walking on it. I need 2 double knee replacements, and that's mostly because I did a lot of carrying tiles upstairs. So it's a lot of extra weight on the pivot of the knee when you're climbing stairs.
Right. Yeah.
And but I can still jog and do most general day activities. But squatting has now become pretty hard for that. Yeah. And if I could, you know, if I do a delivery and there's like 100 boxes of something and I need to take into someone's house, you know, when you get a house and there's maybe like 2 or 3 stairs in front of the house.
Yeah.
But if you do that 100 times 2, you've done 200 times 4 stairs. You've done whatever the fuck number that is.
You're off the Empire
State. Yeah, and it's like 800 stairs is a lot of stairs to be carrying like 30 kilos on your thing. So sometimes I get caught out by something little like that, you know. But it definitely has trained me a lot in those ways, and I don't suffer anywhere near the injuries that a lot of those other guys have, like incredible back injuries as well. And just it's like I don't know how you go with the gym, but I always found going with other people and teaching them the things that I've learned and like what I consider important has really solidified what my knowledge is, because it's the passing on the information is kind of like, if you just do the thing and you learn it, you kind of you just it just becomes habit or whatever, and you do what you do.
Yeah, if you just get started doing it the correct way,
Yeah.
draw it as habit, then you won't fall into the trap.
Yeah, but then like processing and regurgitating information kind of like refreshes it in your mind constantly, and you're helping someone else. So it's like, you know, I'll see like when I'm with Lucas, take my son to the gym, when we're doing whatever exercise it is, if I see his back's not good, I'll correct him on that. But it does make it also creates the focus of me to continually think about my back as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, so you're spot. That's so. I'm sorry. So, I mean, we both smacked at the same time. So
We're just salting the table.
Like I'm studying to be a teacher. And a lot of the like teaching units that I've done are talking about the process of learning and teaching and assessing, and like, so the amount of psychology papers I've read in the past few years is like a bajillion times more than I thought I ever would.
Yeah.
Is that a part of teaching? To get you
Well,
to
yeah,
learn it?
because so much of it is like talking about referring to like how students learn and what the best way to assess things is and stuff like that. And so much of it comes down to psychology and like the physiology of the brain, and because like literally just the way in that the brain works, and like.
I'm glad. I'm glad that's a way like teachers are being taught now. Because I feel like maybe you go back 50 years in the 90s, I think teachers were kind of just go teach the kids. Good luck.
Yeah, there's been a lot of changes in the way our courses run, even in the past like 5 years.
Correct.
But yeah, so much of learning is applying it to a context, and is like getting information and taking information in doesn't really do much to solidify the information in your brain.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah.
but even if it's like, you know, I read a book and the book is great, and I talk about how great the book is, and then I go, fuck, I don't know what happened. Like, I obviously, like, I know, like, I can tell someone what happened in the book, and then like a week later, I read the second book, and I'm like, what the fuck happened in the
Yeah, you're
first
trying
book?
to catch up again.
Yeah, but then like, I'll read something else. Like I'll read like a review of a book, and it'll compare it'll compare two things, and it's like it's just creating like the neural pathways in your brain. So like the more connections there are between things in your mind, the more you're gonna like.
The more you
hold on to it.
contextualize,
Yeah.
the more you
So
remember.
it is like providing context and connecting content to context in as many ways as possible.
Yeah, correct.
And so like that's why so much of like one of the core things with teaching that they want to focus on is like you have like a concrete example. So like say we're teaching algebra, right? And I'm like, the kids aren't. You introduce algebra, the kids aren't going to understand if I just go, okay, so the letter X here represents a number. They're going to go, okay, what number?
That's where I struggled with maths a lot. Whereas the way my brain works, it likes to know why this works.
Yeah.
But like maths, a lot of it is it just works because it just does. So
I mean, yeah, and like especially at a higher level, like I actually quite struggle with teaching concrete examples. Like I think I will do better teaching, like senior. I mean, I'm teaching senior school, but secondary school. So, but I think I would do better teaching like 10, 11, 12 because you can kind of get away with a lot less of the concrete things. And
the students are more ready to accept that, hey, it just works like this. I need to learn it.
Like for the older students that have like a bigger base of knowledge, like the concrete examples are just math already. Like, cause it's just like the context you're putting it in is like, okay, you've got this, like say you've got like trigonometry, and so you're applying trigonometry to a different situation. Whereas before it's like, how the fuck do you teach them trigonometry if they don't already know like what trigonometry is? It's like, but like you can't go, okay, X is the number, because the kids won't understand. But even just saying like, okay, we've got a water bottle to represent something. And so when I say I've got 3X, it means I've got 3 water bottles. But if you're just saying that, the kids still aren't going to get it. So you literally have to go, you have to get a water bottle and you go, here is the water bottle. If I wanted to like write, like, what's the word I'm looking for? If I wanted to represent this water bottle, I would write, I have 1 water bottle, or I would write water bottle. Then I get a second water bottle. And instead of writing, I have got a water bottle and a water bottle. We add them together. We've now got 2 water bottles.
Yeah.
Now you put X instead of a water bottle, and like they get it. That's obviously like a pretty.
Basically, no, I get it. It's like you're trying to create a visualization in the kids' heads of how they're going to represent that in their mind, and so they can really like work on what they've got.
Yeah.
And I totally get that as well. And I think that's why, like, I've been pretty lucky, and I've got really, it's like through this hobby and these jobs and like that I've done, managed to speak to some really high level people. And someone who explained to me a couple of years ago about how he understands like new technology, like patents and stuff coming through, especially stuff he doesn't understand. What he does is he takes away, it's semi-relevant here as well. It's like he takes away the information or the documents he's got, and he tries to make a quiz or an assessment on that. He's not giving it to anybody, but him having to think about the questions. Like if he was going to write an assessment on this, new piece of technology, he's going to give to other people to do. He has to really dig deep and understand what it all involves and the in like instruments of it.
It's a true skill being able to actually teach and describe something well.
Well, what it is, it's if he wants other people to answer his questions about it, he has to obviously understand what it is that he's asking them as well. And he's never giving that quiz or that test to anyone else. But it just allows him, once he's created that, he's had to go through the information. He's done that process so many times now that he truly understands what it is. And that way, what happens is when he goes and then speaks to someone, maybe at like a tech fair or whatever it is, when somebody asks him a question, he already has most of the questions that in his mind, because he's created them himself, is basically like trying to answer the questions before someone else comes up with them. And he's super well versed in the information that he's got. And I always thought that was a really interesting way to do it. He's like regurgitating the information that's come in a way that seems far more functional, And but yeah, it's like I think it's hard, like having a 14, 15-year-old boy. He so dramatically doesn't want to be at school, and I find his process. He definitely already understands that school isn't really for him, and I think there's a big disconnect between the children and the teachers and how that information is going to get relayed. And it's not even just my son. Like there's a big group of kids that he hangs out with. Like specifically, the teachers have already realized that this is probably not going to work for them. So they'll be like put it like they'll take like 5 or 6 kids, put them back to class, and like you just do whatever you want to do, and we'll worry about it to the kids. And that's. It's a shame, but it's also a big
practice.
Part of it.
Like, straight, that's the kind of shit that they like in these classes. They'll give you an example and they'll be like, "A teacher did this. Don't fucking do that."
Well, it's also hard because you ever have. I don't blame the teacher either. You've got one teacher and like 33, 36 students, and you can't. It's like
such a wide spectrum of different personalities and how their brain requires teaching and such.
Different learning capabilities there from like a wide range of different kids. Like how do you expect all of them to learn the same way?
Talking about teaching capabilities, okay, on to the final segment of the podcast. Because you guys are more pro gym goers.
Yeah.
You guys, we're going to make the plan. We're going to make a workout plan for listeners. We're totally qualified as Wade. You gym a lot and you're becoming a teacher. Danny, you gym a lot and you can describe things well. You're going to make the workout plan for our listeners.
The workout plan.
The workout plan. In fact, treat it as my workout plan.
All right.
Before we start, I have a question for you, Wade.
Yes.
Do you do full body splits or do you like do
push-pull?
do you do splits or do you do full body workouts?
So I do splits. So I was doing upper lower. I was supposed to be doing upper lower for a little bit just because I hadn't been able to get in the gym as much. And so I was like,
upper lower works better if you're going 2-3 days in the gym?
Like 4 days a week.
4 days a week.
Then you
Okay,
can
so
have
upper,
2
lower,
sessions
upper, lower.
each. Yeah. And then I just found myself in the gym more, and so I stopped doing it after a week.
Yeah.
So I currently do. It's basically push-pull legs, but I swap the days that I do my biceps and my triceps. So I'll do chest, shoulders, biceps, and then back and triceps.
Right. So you can go into those muscle groups fresh.
Yeah.
Push harder.
It's just you get like a decent amount of like secondary work for your biceps and your triceps doing back and pushing exercises respectively. So it's just a way that I can like hit my
And Danny,
those things more.
You do full body splits.
Now I do full body workouts. I used to do because I'm training with Lucas and his goal is far more is for AFL, so it's far more functional exercises and he does training 4 days a week already with AFL plus game on the weekend. So I can't go in there and smash something like legs, which would inevitably create a higher muscle growth, but I can't then send him back to training the next day with sore legs. He doesn't have that recovery time. And so the process before when I was going to gym myself, where I was far more focused on bodybuilding, it was definitely like like splits, like proper splits. Like I'm just going to do like just chest today, and then maybe a little bit of like leg extensions, just something on the side. And then it was like you do a heavy thing. And I was gymming when I was doing it process quite a lot. I was actually going to the gym twice a day for quite a few times. So it was like real early in the morning, and then probably mid-afternoon, I try to go home from work, have a nap, then go into the gym after that.
You guys ever get bored and just be like, I could go for a chest day?
Well, absolutely.
I was lucky.
Be like, I got 2 hours on me. I got nothing better to do. Let's just go to the gym and smash chest.
For the years that I was working heavily in the gym, I was also working up north, and I was in a very unique position of I had my own donga, and the gym was a walking distance from me, and I wasn't like on a mine site. I'm still in a town, right? So, and what would happen? I'd drive up there on a Monday or a Sunday night, and then I'd be there till Friday and leave on the Friday or the Saturday morning. So Monday to Friday, I had no. Like there's no friends, no responsibilities before and after work. No, and like my son was at home like on the so I'd see him on the weekend. But it doesn't mean every morning and night I could go to the gym and I could be there as long as I wanted to be. And I just had all my own free time, and there was nothing that could possibly change that system for at least 2 years. And I put on incredible gains in that time because the consistency, and I'm also I was in Mora. There's not a lot of food options there either. So I was very much on
chicken rice.
I was
slamming.
Yeah, chicken rice, beans. I was actually still vegan at that time. So it wasn't chicken, to be honest with you. It was just like, it was beans, rice, a lot of tofu, a fuckload of tempeh, which I couldn't cook. So there's a lot of like little sad crying nights where I ate like really bad.
Tempeh tastes pretty bad when it's not cooked right.
I had no idea how to do it. But
classic.
But yeah, I managed to put on like significant weight in those 2 years just because the consistency was the same every day. So
that's been the hardest part for me for the past few years is like every time I get into a good routine, something changes. Like I for a while I was working like when I was installing signs, and it was great because I'd have like not a super long day, but like I'd get up at like 5:36, like get on the road immediately, and I was like, finished by like 2:30, and I was doing a very physical job, so I was getting like a lot of movement in, and then I'd go to the gym, smash the gym hard, and I'd be home at like I'd get home at the same time as my missus, like because she worked in reception. She'd finish at like 5, and then I'd have finished my run at like 3, go to the gym. So I finish at the gym, get home, she gets home from work, and I'm like, cool, I've still got like an afternoon. Like life was great. I was able to like
I hear you, absolutely,
and then now I'm like, I worked 5 nights in a row last week. I worked Monday to Friday night shift, 6 p.m. to a.m. I had Saturday night off, and then I worked Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Keeping consistency as an adult when you've got like partners, and whether it's kids or partners, a job, you're studying as well, and you're trying to push it all into one. And the thing is like the best gains has always been shown is like if you can have like an hour a sleep or two, a couple of hours before you go to the gym, you're significantly better. So going to the gym in the morning is by far the most profitable situation to be in. If you go late at night, your recovery time is dramatically decreased because when you then fall, even if you go to the gym say at like 9 o'clock at night and then you come home and you go to sleep straight away, your body's still in like an overdrive where it has to calm itself down from that, and then it can go into sleep. So instead of 6-7 hours of sleep, you've really taken away 2 hours of that sleep.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, and so it's like it's definitely not ideal, but it's also better than not doing it all. But like I see, like you talk about with like going with like your partner, it's if you're both working and then you both finish at 5 and then you come home and you go to the gym, 3 or 4 nights a week for 3 hours or 2 hours or an hour, even an hour and a half, you lose that real connection time of where you can both like settle down for the day.
Yeah.
So you're kind of taking that away, and then you have to balance that in that math in your head of like, well, I really want to do this, but I have commitments to my partner that I've made,
Yeah.
And who loses? Is it your health or your relationship?
It's so much of going to the gym is making it work for you. You have to make it as convenient as possible and find how it fits in your schedule. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to go do it. And even in like the hecticness of your schedule, where you're still able to find a way to make it work.
Yeah, because
right?
I have been when I work now. What I do when I work nights is I will go. I'll go to the gym by work before my shift because I get up at like 2. I get up at 2, eat. I leave the house at like 3. Get to the gym at 4. And then I just have to be out the gym by like 5:45, and then I can get to work on time.
And a big thing about gymming as well is it's not something that we're like not looking forward to. It's actually like if you do gym consistently and long enough, eventually it becomes a hobby. Like it's something you're actually looking forward to. Like for me, it's more like I can put my headphones on, just like kind of zone out for a bit, have my own, like kind of separate myself from the world and just go to the gym. Done. Easy, right? And it is something you're looking forward to. So it's not like, oh, I don't want to make it do it. I want to do it. I want to fit it in my schedule.
Yeah.
So
I see you quite regularly with your like your mates as well. So it's like it's a bit more of a camaraderie thing that's there.
And that's also like, so that's part of why I've been so like just kind of low energy the past few weeks. Like, so is because like obviously like everyone's schedule changes, and like that's like the worst part of being an adult is like you find consistency, you find something, and then
something else takes
someone has to make a change. And that, like, I haven't played D&D since I was like 18 because I literally like I'm always the one whose schedule doesn't match up, and so I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to go
Change
okay, no, like fuck you guys, like I want to play. I'm going to be like, all right, it's easy for everyone else to play on like a Sunday, so and I'll just step out and I'll work it out next time. But like, yeah, for ages it was great because I was working more days, so I would be going. Because when I work days, I go to the gym after, like after work. So I get there at like 6:15, and that's just what I prefer because the alternative is getting up at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And
what's the reality of it? Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
But like, I was more motivated and making more progress, and like I found it easier to like do the things that I didn't enjoy, like the aspects of it that I didn't enjoy, like cardio, like eating clean, like training.
Yeah, no one
legs.
really likes cardio.
There's some crazy people that do.
So
but they're usually psychos.
one of my mates at Gold's, he's a cardio fiend. He's like the most diced guy I've ever seen with my own two eyes, and like it's literally
That's the dude who's gone for 12% body fat.
Yeah.
Now.
yeah. It's literally just because he gets up in the morning and like goes for like hops on the treadmill for an hour or two, or like just goes for a walk for 2 hours. Like he'll occasionally like there was the other day he's like he posted on his story and he's like, oh, just a quick little jog, and it was like a 5 hour
like 17
17
kilometer marathon. Light jog.
It was crazy, and then he still comes in and like trains super hard every
Smashes
day,
it, yeah.
and I'm like, all right, you're a freak, man. But like, yeah, it was great, and I was like making more progress, and I was like super motivated because I'd get to the gym and all the lads to be there. Like it would, like,
It's a great feeling because it really motivates you to go.
Yeah.
You want to go see them, and like if you're not there, you know they're going to be like, "Hey, where's Wade?"
yeah. And then it was like, you know, it got a bit colder, so like one of them's like, like I normally walk the dog after the gym, but because it's now like colder, the sun's obviously like going down earlier, like I go and walk the dog before so that he doesn't get cold, and so I come in later.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, fucking someone else is like working in a different area now, and someone's now like my mate Blanche, shout out Sedative, he, son of a bitch, has not been in that gym in forever, and when he does, he goes at like 10 a.m. because he's finally just got like he was like working FIFO.
That's his schedule, yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna, he's like, why the fuck would I, when I've got time off and I don't have to come in when it's busy, why the fuck would I? And I'm like,
of course,
yeah, I guess I could fuck me.
I get it. Every now and again,
it's
like my schedule permits me to have like a day off during the day, or my work schedule is different. And going in the middle of the day when there's like no like kids or the gym equipment's not bashed out, like is pretty awesome. You feel like a millionaire. You're like, yes.
You get all the equipment to yourself, freedom of choice. And then you go at 7:30 one time, and it's like, what is happening, man?
Dude. Yeah, like at Gold's especially, like Gold's is super busy. There's like
That's the gym.
There's not a no. So Gold's is the one down in Fremantle. World Gym is the one. I've been meaning to check out World Gym, but it's because it's a super big, like really nice gym that has a bunch of stuff. It's busy for like, it's got a peak hour that lasts like 4 hours.
Yeah.
So between like 4 and 8 p.m. it's packed the whole
unusable.
time.
Yeah.
You get like a 20-minute window where it like quiets down, and then it's then the
Different crowd.
second rush hour comes in. It's crazy.
All right. So for the average person listening, let's say, you know, the average person who's working 5 days a week, you reckon 3-4 times a week they can go to the gym? Seems reasonable, right?
I always say my recommendation is as long as you're getting 2 hard, good workouts a week for an average person, that's great. So I would say if you aim to go to the gym 3 to 4 days a week, and you just make sure that 2 of them are locked in, but you manage to get to inside the gym 3 to 4 days a week, that's your goal.
Sure. So let's aim for 4. All right. So let's say day 1. What are you doing? We're making the schedule right now.
So, right. The thing
What
is,
is it better? Upper, lower?
what's the goal?
pull, split?
Like, is the goal like training like a bodybuilder because you want to put on muscle? Is the goal training to be an old man that can walk?
Option
Like,
A.
is-
Option A. Always as big as possible.
You want to get as big as
Alright,
possible?
that is-
All right, easy.
Got to get
That's-
as big as possible on a conservative time schedule. Because the reality is, every person I've ever talked to, every dude in their like mid-20s, even your 30s, I'm going to the gym. I want to be fit, be healthy, and then 3 months into the gym, everyone's mindset goes to, let's just see how far I can take
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Let's see how far I can actually take it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So in the end goals, I just assume that every dude listening to the show is eventually going to be jacked and massive.
Yeah. Yeah.
First thing you do when you go to the gym, you got to lock in where you're going to place your items, and you look
Okay.
around and see who's there. You can stand at the bag section and be like, do I know anyone? And is there anybody I don't want to do a specific exercise in front of? I think that's the most important thing first.
First things first is you need to scope out the bathrooms.
Oh, 100%.
You need to see if the lighting's good.
100%,
Yeah.
You need to see if the lighting's good. You also need to see if it's a good environment where you can take your pre-workout dump.
Yeah, I get it.
That is-
I get it, dude.
I am
I've-
never using
I've-
the sit down bathroom in a gym in my entire life. That's
The Revo,
to me, that's insane, bro.
The Revo Joondalup that I go to right now, the Revo that I go in Joondalup, the toilet situation is a nightmare.
It's
And God
terrible.
forbid I ever need to actually take
I've-
an emergency shit during the workout.
I've genuinely had workouts ruined because I couldn't get my pre-workout shit out in peace.
Yeah.
You're worried about losing it the entire time through.
And I'm like, I don't have enough quiet in here to, it's terrible. But that's just me.
Do you know what I find as well as somebody who listens to like alternative music while you're going to the gym? It's hard when you've got
Kelly Clarkson?
whatever that one.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever, like that beat is smashing through the toilet speakers while you're in your headphones, and you're like, you can hear your music, but you can also hear the music on the outside. And you're like, this is not what I'm in for.
I was trying to change it to my gym gear, and the entire floor of the change room was wet.
Yeah.
I was doing this like hopping situation. I was like trying to jump from one
'cause
foot to the other.
You're not trying to
avoid
work out with
touching
wet
the floor.
socks on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right. So day 1.
They
All
won't
right,
prove.
all right,
Yeah.
So I'm
Day one
gonna
poop.
I'm
Scope
gonna
out gym.
I'm gonna start by giving you a routine that you're doing no matter what you're working out.
Yeah.
Right. So identify which toilet stall is the best to take your pre-workout shit in.
Done. Yeah.
Done. Check marked off. Tick.
Get yourself some like baby wipes for yourself so that you don't go out onto the gym floor with a stinky ass, and
Done.
also so that if
Check
the
mark 2
toilet
ticked.
and so that if the toilet is a bit gnarly, you can give it a wipe down.
So
see,
far this workout
yeah.
is super easy.
Super hygienic. Yeah.
Step
Yeah.
Step three. Ignore all the signs that tell you not to put fit wipes and baby wipes in the toilet. All right. And so what I personally do, right? So this is actually step 0. This is what you do before you get into the gym, right? Is you make sure you have your playlist that you want to play. That is your base. Throughout the workout, you're going to have things pop into your head and you're going to add songs to the queue. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. But you start with a base. It's like a good soup base.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm with
You
you,
find
yeah.
your one hype song to get you ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you also have to have something that you can listen to while you warm up. So if you've been sitting down for 12 hours, you're going to want to get in there. You need to do a little bit of like hip
Correct.
mobility, back
Yeah.
mobility, shoulder stuff, just so that you're like, not everyone needs it, but it helps in the
It's
long
good
run.
to
They do
start
need
off
it.
with
They
a good
just
foundation.
don't need it right now,
Yes.
but they do need
Yes,
it.
Exactly. Right. And so you have something different that you listen to while you do your warm-ups
I see
and
what
while
you're
you do
saying.
your
Yeah,
warm-up
yeah.
sets. And then when you do your first working set is when you put on your playlist.
Activation mode.
Slam.
Yes. That is like one big
So I
difference.
feel Wade starting with a bit of light jazz before he goes to the screamer.
So I listen to either a podcast or country music.
oh yeah, I'm with you.
So I will.
Insane choices, but I'm with you.
Yeah,
I do remember a few years ago you showing us your Spotify playlist and it had fucking Nickelback at the start.
I mean, Nickelback's all time. Nickelback's in the workout playlist. It's just it depends which. So like I'll put the Nickelback slow jams on,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then switch to everything else.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, like if I'm listening to a podcast while I drive to the gym, I'll just keep listening to the podcast until it's time to like lock in.
Yep.
That's I think so much of it is you need to be in the right headspace to have a good workout. Obviously, not every time it's going to work, not every time you're going to be there, but like it like triggers something in your body so that you know.
Yeah,
like,
it's
even
time.
if you're not like
You're creating a habit.
It's like you're
yeah.
psychologically telling yourself, "Hey, this is the time to go.
Exactly.
Get ready, gym."
If you were in a
prepare.
group of boys, are you musicking while you do the exercise?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm depending on like I'll occasionally just like pop one ear out while I am like doing my set, but for the most part it's like I lock in when I do my set and then I take them out as soon as I'm done. But yeah, like right mentality, right headspace. Okay, so first I also think if you prioritize legs, you're a freak weirdo. So
Yeah.
first
Some people are leg guys, people, and they just love doing leg day. Dude, come on, man. I can't walk the Monday after. It sucks.
I mean, yeah, I've been like, because I'm so scared of like re-injuring my back. I've been really slack on legs, but then I'm also
get ya.
like you know,
It's an easy one to skip. As any regular gym goer, you're
Yeah.
like, I'll do this later.
but then I'm also like, you know, I'm scared of hurting my back, so I skip legs. But then I'll go in there and I'm like last week I was doing heavy deadlifts for the first time in a while as like more than just testing if I can still do it. And I was like, my belt feels funny, so I just chucked it aside and like was repping up 200 kilos completely raw, and I'm like, bad move.
Not a suggestion.
Not a suggestion. Don't do that. But also like if your back's strong enough, like fucking who cares?
Says 25-year-old Wade. Eh?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But so I think at the very least you should have an upper and a lower if you're like conservatively you're only going to get in.
You should still do your legs no matter what.
Yeah.
So
it's like if you can only make 2 workouts in a week, make sure one of them is a leg workout. If you can make 3, upper, lower, upper.
Yep.
Like
Done.
it's
yeah.
you know, I'm currently only doing 1 leg day because I'm a little bitch. Yeah. That's it. It's you know,
You and me too, Wade.
In my 7 days, I only do leg once.
yeah.
One day, and that's a maybe.
In 7 days,
And that's a
do
maybe.
leg once.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And just like the memory thing where he just like focused on and he remembered, he just looks at his legs and is like, just imagines the clench.
Every single time I get to that squat rack, I just sigh. I'm like,
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. So I would say if you're doing an upper workout, you need to work through it in the order of what you want to prioritize. Because obviously, like you're going to be hitting everything, but you want to hit like what you want to make the most progress on when you're freshest.
So you're starting with boobies?
Yeah,
Starting
of
with
course.
chest.
Yeah.
As a guy, chest is
Fuck
big.
yeah.
Important.
I've never not done chest
There's
first.
no one out there. There's no gym goer out there that does not like chest day.
Yeah.
You can. It recovers fast. You can do a lot of weight, and it feels
Yeah,
good to do.
it's just like
You
it's
get a great
good for the
pump out
ego.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, but yeah, so like for me, let me actually I'll pull up what my last before I quit it, what my upper day was.
On a real quick tangent while Wade pull this up. So I've been doing a lot of rotator cuff exercises because when I first started doing bench presses and shoulder chest exercises, I was like, oh man, my shoulders are cranking up a little bit. But now that I've like done a lot more rotator cuff exercises, my shoulders feel really good now. So my shoulders are actually 100% G, but my elbows. Now my elbows are like, oh no, when I do
Not to be like terribly racially stereotyping. Did you play a lot of tennis when you were a child?
No.
No, you didn't. You knew, what was your childhood sport?
basketball and like badminton.
Yeah, well, badminton's the same thing. It's a lot of elbow, a lot of cross elbow movements that can.
It shouldn't be on my left arm then. Because I play badminton because I'm right hand
True,
dominant.
so it's on both. It's on
No, it's
both
just my
elbows.
left elbow.
Oh,
And
it's
especially-
possibly because you weren't using it the same. So
yeah,
it's
true.
just like
Yeah.
it's an imbalance on the other side.
got a
Like
weak
that's
little bitch
Yeah,
elbow.
That's what I reckon. And I especially notice it when I try doing push-ups because anytime I do like a compound exercises, especially like bodyweight exercises, push-ups, that's when my elbows just don't cooperate.
Kang just comes in looking like that Rick and Morty episode where he's got one massive arm.
Yeah, dude. All the extracurricular activities on my computer.
so
I don't use both hands for that.
Was it
I got confused for a second there, and I was like, wait,
udders? Nah,
one hand, one's gripping the balls, and the other's
no. I had a friend of mine describe it as like the the pepper shaker movement, the pepper grinder movement.
Her boyfriend's having a real rough time, man. I use one to just slap myself slowly as we go.
All right, so starting with chests.
Yeah.
It's just there's really only one chest exercise, right? And that's just any sort of chest press.
Well, there's definitely more
movement.
than one exercise.
But
yeah,
there's really only one, right? It's just some sort of
it's
chest press movement.
Pressing or flies,
Yeah.
but like
And I do incline. I do incline chest press because I've heard that it's better overall.
So if you can only do one like chest compound, I recommend incline dumbbell.
Yeah.
Which might be freakazoid of me. Surprising, I know. I'm not recommending bench. That's because I hate bench. It sucks. I hate it.
Really?
Me and the bench press don't have a great relationship.
Yeah. Also, you can push way harder on dumbbell because with anything bar related, it's like, ooh, as it comes down.
Yeah, I mean, as there's more room for error in terms of like, because
Shoulder, yeah.
like shoulders and like, there's not a fixed path having your hands on a bar. Like obviously there's like variation, you can move it in and out. Like that being said, there's also like, you can find a groove where it's like, it's not necessarily optimal, but it's like, you can still move the weight in a way that it's like, you might, one day you might just be feeling a bit whatever.
Yeah.
And you just like change the angle slightly and you're fine, which you can't really do as well with a bar.
Yeah, on bar, it's far more linear. And what that happens is because your shoulders are two separate items, but you're functioning them as the exact same item, but that's not correct because you will do injuries and little finicks in different times. So when you're on the bar, it's really moving, you're forcing both of them to line up and move in the same direction. Whereas on dumbbells, you're going to wing down just a little bit so your shoulders are in and it's a far
You
more
can find where your
comfortable-
arm wants to move naturally.
Yeah, it's a more natural position, but also allows both the arms to be in tiny little different positions, which is going to be find those, like I said, like little grooves where it's going to be able to move up and down more comfortably. So you're absolutely correct on that for sure.
Yeah. So I if you can only do the one pressing exercise, I recommend, because it also like you get a little bit of like front delt engagement.
So number one, chest press or incline dumbbell.
Incline dumbbell.
Incline
yeah.
dumbbell chest press.
I've
Done.
actually
Do you
changed
do a
my-
fly? Should you do a fly as well for your chest?
I do flies, yeah.
Sure.
I've actually changed my like angle for my incline dumbbells to like slightly higher than it used to be. Like who's the short guy that we watch on
Jeff Nippard.
Yeah, Jeff Nippard. I saw this like Jeff Nippard video where he was talking about how increasing angle pushes the muscle tension like further up on the chest and will bring it a bit more into this like central focal point. So I've always done more of like still incline, but on more of a lay down. So more of like a 45. And I've recently increased it to more of like a 40, 60 kind of percent like angle and a bit higher.
So
and
you're almost engaging your shoulders.
it's close. It's less bicep and more shoulder now for sure, which has made it hard because then I usually go straight from chest into shoulders, and then I've buried out what I can do on my shoulder press now. But I'm feeling a lot better, and in that chest process. And because you're going. Your angle's off a little bit. I'm not getting as much as the activation on the under part, so I'm gonna have to make up for that somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a lot better, and I'm pushing a lot heavier weight as well.
Done. So some sort of chest press, some sort of chest fly. After chest, what are we doing?
So chest press first, and then back movement.
We'll do a back. All right, what are we doing for back?
I prefer a chest supported row. Doesn't really matter the angle because you can kind of always.
I was a big fan of the chest supported row until I realized that when you start going up in weight and I feel like I can't breathe in as deep.
Yeah, you fight it. It's
just-
you against
you just-
the bar, like all the chest.
Yeah, like you just have to like adjust the angle slightly. Like just make sure you're not letting your shoulders like kind of cave your chest
Gotcha.
in as you come forward.
If you're struggling with it, what I would be trying to look at is the height of the chair,
Yeah,
because
that
you want to have where you want it to sit in a position where it is comfortable, and you should be stronger than the pillow that's in front of you.
Yeah.
So there is a position there somewhere on your body that you'll find.
I might have it too low on my diaphragm and it's just pushing in my lungs.
Yeah.
I'm
You
doing
also
that?
want to make sure that your back is in a proper activation. So it's like you've got like think about your like I always when I'm explaining to Lucas, there's three things you do. You think about before ever even lifting up the thing. It's like where is your breath, where is your back, and
Much of the exercise is just engage your core.
Yeah,
Get
and
your
then
middle-
have you engaged your core and the muscles that you're trying to work on. So you've got to think like the entire time I'm doing like say a chest supported back activity. I'm thinking about the muscles in my back that I'm trying to do, and I'm squeezing the fuck out of them the entire time. You really got to really
Or the mind-muscle connection.
Yeah,
they
you
call
got to
it.
think about what is your thing, because you want to make sure you're not dropping away into something else, but it's also how you do this entire exercise back and forth multiple times without injuring yourself, and that is by far the most important thing, is the not injuring yourself.
Yeah.
So I would check where your back is, because if you're finding struggle and you're pushing yourself too far in, like if you end up feeling like too much pressure on your back, naturally your back is going to be curving forward again, because you're now against physically like fighting against the thing. So really pull back, you lock in your back here, especially your lower spine, and you should have a lot less
Right.
tension there where you don't want it
So
to
for
be.
backs, we're doing a row.
Yes.
All right.
If you're a woman doing a chest supported row, and that's something that's a problem for you, because
Because
Boobies,
breasts.
you've got boobs.
Yeah. You flop them over your shoulders.
Yeah.
And then,
You detach them real quick.
I mean, it's, but also like, you know, if
Yeah, of course,
some gyms don't have a chest supported
yeah,
row.
my Revo doesn't have a chest supported row, and it's sad times. Yeah.
My
All the Revos have different equipment from one to the other. It's insane.
I have the plate loaded chest supported
Yeah.
row.
Oh,
And I
nice.
have
The-
the one where it's the
best.
machine where it's like from a high angle. You pull down like that.
Yeah.
Sure, same
I mean,
thing,
yeah,
same thing.
it's yeah.
Bit of a scam, but whatever.
I mean, yeah. There's the ones that are like, it's not a pull down, it's a high row.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
the
just
one that we
it's just a
have.
perfectly bad angle that doesn't really do.
Yeah,
For me-
it's for one guy who's a specific height and no one else.
For
Yeah.
me, it's when I do it, I'm like, why is this engaging my shoulders?
yeah,
Yeah,
because it's that angle. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So avoid that one.
Gotcha.
So if you can't do a chest supported row,
do a regular row.
Do a cable row.
yeah.
And like same kind of principle. You set yourself up imagining you've got a chest support, and you want to keep yourself like steady, stable,
Right.
as though there's something.
And
there.
for the back exercises, it's just the rows? Is it kind of?
No. So
Sure,
there's like, so the back is,
A lot of muscle.
it's a lot of muscles. Yeah. But
Especially for me.
yeah, I mean,
But the main one we care about is the lats, because that makes you look wide.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
you want to be able to jump out of a plane and glide your way down like Buzz Lightyear.
Correct. Little do you know, but the hanging, like the gliding possum is peak.
He's peak bushland gym-goer. Bro.
yeah. It's that and those jacked kangaroos.
Yeah, dude.
So those are the two like main compounds.
Yeah.
And then when I do an upper body, I like to do my two, like I've got my chest exercise, back exercise, and then I hit something for side delts, biceps, triceps in the middle, and then I do another, like that's when I do my chest flies, and then my like lat pull downs or pullovers.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
So for chest backs after rows, would you do a pull down?
yeah,
Some sort of pull
so
down. So cable lat pull down.
you basically want to be hitting, like at the very minimum, if you're only doing 2 exercises, you want to be hitting, doesn't really matter what you're trying to target. You want to be hitting something that's a horizontal movement and something that's a vertical movement.
Gotcha.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And so I say for the 3 things in the middle, it's fair game. Just pick something that, like, if you prefer to do a dumbbell lateral raise for your side delts, if you do upright rows, any variation of, it's just so many people are scared of upright rows because they're stupid. What they don't realize is that upright rows are just a variation.
What's an upright row to you? What? Oh, that.
It's
yeah, okay.
literally so.
With the curvy bars?
Yeah, if that's what you've got, I do them with a Smith machine. What people don't realize because they're thick is it's just a variation of a lateral raise.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the motion that your upper arm goes through, and you look at how when you do it correctly and you're not like shrugging into it and lifting your elbows above your shoulders, it's the same. Like you look at that upper arm, it's the exact same
Just
movement.
pivot at the shoulder joint?
Yeah, it's the exact same movement as if you're doing a lateral raise. It's just your
Yeah. It's just your forearm is
are
down
in a
instead
different
of up.
position.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, yeah. Lateral raise.
So some sort of shoulder.
upright
So after
row.
back, some sort of shoulder exercises.
Yeah.
So there's some sort of raises on your shoulders.
And because I don't do any.
Do you guys do shoulder press?
I do if I'm doing a flat press. So when on my current split, I have one day where I do dumbbell incline, and I don't do any upright. I don't do any overhead pressing on that day, but I do my lateral raises still.
Yeah.
And on the days where I do my bench press, I have a machine overhead press.
Gotcha.
But if you're just doing upper lower, and then biceps again, like just kind of anything that is working your bicep, as long as you're feeling a good squeeze.
There's really
and it's
only
not,
2 exercises for bicep, and that's just bicep curl and hammer curls.
There's a lot. There's a lot. I would say, like, I like to do, if I hate myself that week, I'll do seated like decline biceps where I like to
Your arms down to the side.
Yeah, you put your hands directly out in front of you, and then you turn them out to like a nice angle. And what that gives is good activation across the broad stroke of here. And it's like you should get a bit more build up of thickness over like a long period of time of doing them, but it fucking sucks. And you have to.
Because you're also keeping tension on the arm the entire time.
Right. Yeah. And you can focus on that as well. One that I've come to love more than anything else is sitting on the when the bars are like above, it doesn't really matter what even equipment you do it on, but you sit straight at it, like a 90-degree angle, and you pull the bar down. I like to use what do you call the back one when you do this? The lat pull down. Yeah. So the lat pull down machine, I sit directly underneath it and I pull it all the way down, and then you stop to here, and then you go all the way back up again. And what that's giving you is activation all the way through the bicep, from the very top where it's extended fully and all the way down where it's
so like you're sitting on the lat pull down machine. And instead of you're doing a reverse grip and you're pulling directly vertical down with your biceps.
That's it's one of those like weird compound movements. 'Cause, like personally, as someone who trains like as a bodybuilder, for hypertrophy, that's something that like I wouldn't do because it's like you're not getting like isolation on the bicep, and there's a lot of work that there's a lot of work you can do using your back, but also it's like if I want to train my back, I wouldn't do that either because there's too much bicep.
Absolutely. I actually do it in a double with lat pull down and then going straight into that after.
Oh yeah, okay.
It means the lat pull down has to be far like less
But
weight
also
than
you
I
also
would normally
dibs
do.
the machine so someone else can't just sneak in.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. But like as a functional movement, it's pretty good.
What I find in my work is like I do a lot of pulling, and it's like pulling is usually you can do a lot stronger than pushing. Like you're far more likely to injure yourself when you push something. So let's say there's some boxes on the table here, like Northern Boards, there's a bunch of like massive space wolf boxes. Pushing across, you're far more likely to slip a disc or do some sort of injury to your back. Whereas a pulling movement is far stronger, and you can have far more control of your spine and the position that it's in. So I try to do as many of those. But you're absolutely correct. There's not anywhere near as much isolation as possible. But over the course of years of doing it, I do find that all of those muscle activations around it do become far more stronger.
So speaking about pushing, triceps. All right. Tricep exercises.
So rope push down, overrated. But if it's what feels best for you, as long as you
I've
can
stopped
still
doing
progress
the rope push downs because it just like feels like it cranks the elbows. Like when you come down and you do that
like
expand out movement.
Like you kind of have to have some like internal or some
does the
external
rotation on the cable, is that supposed to help? Does it help with hypertrophy?
Yeah. Well, I can deal with obviously different opinions. I think when you turn out and you turn the rope down into the thing, what you're doing is you're activating the last part of the tricep,
right?
And that's what I believe. Could be like different opinions, but that's cool.
The main thing with like having it's another factor that takes away from stability. So it's like there is a benefit to it, but like I find you're better off doing something that's more stable, that doesn't require that rotation, and that way you can just kind of put in a little bit of extra work.
It's why I use the Y bar.
That one's not too bad. It's all about like the angle that you do it like to your body and like it's tweaked. Like I personally, I hate using that V bar because for me personally, I can't just find a good angle. But I'm also like, maybe if my shoulders were healthier, I would be fine with it. Like
I agree with the V bar as well. So what do you like to do for your triceps?
So I do. I've just started working in like an overhead.
I keep hearing people talk about the tricep overhead extension.
Yeah,
with a rope or with like a skull crusher?
With a bar.
Yeah.
But for a while, I've just been doing push downs with a straight bar. Partly again, like with chest, it's an ego thing, but like as long as you're not like, you need to stop yourself from turning it into a chest press.
Yeah.
Which you get heavy, you kind of have to like a little bit.
They'll take over, yeah.
Yeah, but like it is kind of like a compound for the tricep if you do it like, because there's like two types of exercises for like anything really, which is where you obviously you isolate it and you have to, and like compounds like, but for
Multiple muscle groups.
For triceps specifically, it's like any exercise where you move your whole arm is a compound that kind of like is a catch-all that kind of works everything, even if it doesn't work everything the best, versus where you keep the upper arm and shoulder still and you're only moving through the elbow joint.
Yeah.
So you're talking about tricep with the bar. You're talking about cables?
Yeah, I used to do skull crushers because the people that would go to the gym with regularly, and they were like professional bodybuilders. They like swore for overhead skull crushers where you lie on the bench and you do it over your head.
Yeah.
But I've tried to perfect it for years, but I'm way too unco and I can't do it. I can't do it properly.
For me, every single time I try.
Oh, really?
For me, if I do skull crushes, it feels like I'm definitely getting the position wrong every single time because I just can't find it. Like it's just like my shoulders feel rough, my elbows feel rough. Something's not right.
So I should clarify. I don't do any free weight tricep exercises. Everything I'm talking about is like a variation using a cable.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, cable. So and I tried doing the cable overhead.
Yeah.
The same thing. I was like, where is it?
So
where am I doing it wrong?
If you're doing the cable, you basically like I am just a bit like broad, so I need to like lean
You're a big
forward
boy.
a bit. I am a big boy, but and also my shoulders are a bit. So you basically want to be like coming down, so you want your elbows pointing like forward as much as possible, and then when you push up, you're pushing your elbows to
Vertically?
the ceiling, and like so you're kind of like with the bar behind your head, you're kind of pushing it like
Oh, so you like to have
back
it
and
from
away
coming down
from-
and going up.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, cool.
But yeah, I've just
Because you do it leaning over, diagonal across.
Yeah, I tend to because because I'm doing it with Lucas now. Heights are a little bit different. So ideally, you want to set up all the exercises you want to set to your height and your situation the best. But Lucas is probably like 3 or 4 or 5 centimeters lower than me at the moment. So he's going to catch up soon. But it does make a difference. So rather than popping the thing up and down all the time to the different heights, what I do is I put my ass like square against the bar, and then I do it basically. I almost go 90 degree forward and do the same exercise but I'm pulling forward, I guess, instead of pulling up.
Yeah,
so it's
and
because
I
I've
mean,
turned my body to a 90.
like you can kind of play with the angles however you like, as long as like the angle of your body doesn't really matter, as long as the movement you're making with your arms is the same.
We're basically doing the same thing, but I'm leaned over essentially.
All right, so now we've got that's upper body. That's all covered, right? Basically, and then a couple of here and there's you can add in and remove.
Yeah, and then
but we have the essentials down.
And then you do a pec deck. I think pec deck is the easiest for anyone to figure out.
Yeah.
because you can kind of always just jump on a pec deck, adjust
Just
it,
get it on
and
the
then,
machine, figure out where your arms fit in, go squeeze.
and then just a lat pull down. People struggle to feel a lat pull down. Just fuck around with it. Like, you'll figure it out eventually.
It's activating so many of your other muscles, and it is a hard. You'll be like really focused and knowledgeable about the muscle like stack of what is being activated to really focus down on that. But it does, like I said, naturally, it's going to build up a lot of the other muscles that's being activated anyway.
Yeah.
Now, most importantly, everybody has a favorite upper body exercise that when there's no one around, you can see yourself in the mirror and you're like, fuck yeah.
The pump.
Pump
exercise.
What are you?
Dumbbell lat raises.
Dumbbell lat raises? Yeah.
So that's also because I'm a freak bitch. So I've recently, this past week, I've worked up to, I now am using the 25 kilos as my working weight for my lat raises.
Nice, yep.
So I've had some big lifts. My max bench was 140, not currently, but it was 140. My max deadlift was 230, and my max squat was like 185. The thing that gets people to stare is when I do lat raises with like anything bigger than like the 20 kilos.
Yeah.
Like it's
I also like that. Like once you finished as well, all of the top of your muscles are quite tight, and you start to get the veins up in your neck, and you're like, "Fuck yeah!"
So I've got like I get this one vein like pop out across my like right shoulder that like it's obviously not because I'm lean, because it still pops out when I was like fat, but it just
it fits the aesthetic.
Yeah, it looks like those Arnold Schwarzenegger photos from like the 90s, right? You're like, let's
The
go.
pump and iron days.
And like, my form's not the best, especially because I'm using fucking 25 kilo dumbbells.
There's
but
a bit
it's
of
like,
swing has to come in there eventually.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm like,
You can't prevent gravity.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm feeling it. It is a focused movement, but also like because of the issues I've had with my shoulder, like I can't keep the perfect, like what would be ideal, optimal form for it. So I'm like, I'm gonna just push it a bit with the form that I can do. And it's
Yeah,
like,
of course, yeah.
You don't have to be perfect.
yeah,
You don't have to be perfect. As long as you're not injuring yourself and you're able to get the movement like 80% correct, you'll be fine.
yeah.
You'll
But
be
also,
fine.
I don't want to be doing a set of fucking 25, 30 reps of any exercise.
Yeah.
Much less like, so I'm like, I'm still gonna
I
work
think
within
science
the
now
rep ranges
says
I
like 6 to 8 actual heavy reps is better than just doing like 12 to
Yeah.
15.
A lot of different generations will have very different ethoses on what that is. What's yours?
So I still have, like, I know it's there's still that train of thought that a lot of people have that certain muscles can be worked and need to be worked differently. Like people do higher reps for shoulders and biceps and triceps because they recover better because they're smaller muscles, which just isn't really the case. I just I don't have the joint strength to be doing sets of 5 with heavy like dumbbell curls and shit like that.
Right.
But like I still aim for like 8 to 12 for biceps, triceps, shoulders, and 5 to 10 anything else.
Whatever
nice.
gets you to hypertrophy, whatever gets you to the
Yeah.
point where you feel like you've hit the muscle enough and you've definitely like hit yourself to a reasonable level of failure.
How
Yeah,
much of a
muscle group.
change have you felt when, like I said, when you do you do installing science and then you're active throughout the day and then going to the gym after? How much of a change have you felt from doing that to then going to gym cold, essentially, like not warmed up?
It's so in order. What feels like best to worst is going to the gym cold in the afternoon after I've been asleep all day.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I wake up, I eat good food, and then I have 2 hours before I start my workout. It takes me a bit longer to get warm, to get like active, and to get moving. But on the days where it's good, it's great.
Yeah.
And on the days where it's not, it's still okay. The days where I was installing, I kind of always had like, we'll put numbers to it because I'm autistic. No, because I'm going to be a math teacher. That's why. Like my afternoon pre-night shift workouts are like, they're either like 10 out of 10 or like 5 out of 10, and there's no in between. When I was installing, it would be like kind of anywhere in the range of like a 7 to an 8.
Yeah.
They were always pretty good because I was always warm and like ready to go.
Yeah, it's like you've just done a whole day of warm up.
Yeah, I've done a whole day of warm up and eating good, but because I'm moving, my food's like digesting well. As well. And also I'd spend 8 hours fucking hooning and like jamming out.
Yeah. You're in a good
What's
mood.
not to
You're in a
love?
good mood
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
into the
Like
gym.
it's, and as like I hate the heat, but I'm like, I'd spend 8 hours where I'm like in the sun, and I'm like, undeniably there is a part of you that feels good
Yeah,
because you're like
fresh air,
warm.
healthy, the sun, absolutely.
Correct.
But then also the days where it's like pissing down with rain, I'm like, this is great. This is ideal. Like I loved just, I'd be wearing like my fucking long pants, long shirt, so I'm not getting like soaked to the bone, but I'm like moving around enough that I'm, it was, and so I'm like, either way, like vibes were high unless I had to deal with real estate agents.
Yeah.
And
I hear you.
and so it's like I always had like a good workout. Going after a day shift or after a night shift is like the best it'll ever be is like a 7.
Yeah. It's a real
Aside
struggle
from
at
those
that
like
point.
very rare, like the first time I ever hit 180 kilo squat was after a day shift where I had just the longest day of my life because I had everyone under the sun asking me stupid questions.
Just pure spite went into that
And
victory.
I'm like, I need to, I was like, I need to squat because I've done everything else. Like I've done all my fucking other workouts for the week. So today's a leg day. And I walked in, the gym was super busy. One squat rack opened up before I'd even got changed. So I just dumped my bag there and went and got changed. And then I was like, all right, like I'm just abusing the shit out of this squat rack today. And then I did it. And I was like, all right, cool.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
So speaking about squats, final part, the legs, the lower body. There's only so many leg exercises you can do, and one of the main ones. How do you guys feel? Squats,
I feel like hip abductor is definitely the most
hip
important.
abductor. Yep, up and down for the glutes. If you're a lady, 100%.
My child likes to call it the good girl, bad girl. Wait,
Well,
is
yeah,
that you?
that's-
Yeah, that was
Is
me.
that's
No,
you.
that's,
Yeah, yeah.
that's very like that's what Katarina calls it. But yeah, I mean, like honestly, if you're someone who lives a pretty sedentary life, I wouldn't actually recommend doing squats, deadlifts.
Nah, 100%.
So I do hack squats on the machine.
Yeah, hack squats
yeah.
are fantastic.
Yeah, and it's more stable because you've got the machine around you,
Correct.
for sure.
Correct.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just like it's same as like kind of everything else. Like you want to do a compound and an isolation. Yeah. So like I even now like I'm gonna hit legs today if I do go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna probably do deadlifts because I'm not feeling game for squats because my knee's feeling a bit wonky.
Yep.
And also because I just have been enjoying my deadlifts lately, but like not ideal. Like I'd say a dumbbell RDL, a either hack squat or leg press, and then a hamstring curl and leg extension calf raise. It's kind of all you need. Like if you're
So something that hits the quads, something hits the hamstrings, something hit the calves. You're good to go.
A lot of sports science and dealing with like professional sportsmen, they're not supposed to do any of the three primaries. So no deadlifts, no squats, no bench press, because the chance of injury is so incredibly higher. They're like, well, why am I not going to injure the insurance for this? You being like a sportsman. So like, and I think an average person who hasn't trained or doesn't have a spotter shouldn't be going too hard or doing. I don't let Lucas do deadlifts or squats at all. Like we'll do maybe like good mornings or like stuff with the little bars, but never on the big bar. Just because like I don't want to be the one responsible for injuring him, and I'm fairly well trained in what I'm doing and feel confident, but I don't have any training in how to train a child and how different their body is as well, right? And I think if you're an average person, you shouldn't be doing squats or deadlifts without going and paying someone who's learnt this and how to teach you to do it properly. I think it's hard. You can watch videos and stuff like that, but I just think like I don't know. There's such a high opportunity, and something like a leg press is giving you almost as much for significantly less of the danger.
Yeah, and like realistically, you're not like I bench press because I want a bigger bench press.
Yeah.
I do squats because I want because
even against my own advice, I also just do bench press because I want to be like fuck it.
Yeah, like it's like I'm not a power lifter, but like I train somewhat like a power lifter, you know, because like you know, I fucking hate squatting until I've been squatting for a while, and then I'm like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, once you see the progress and you feel like the confidence of your own muscles kicking in as you do something that was hard a month ago, you're like, fuck yeah.
And like, you know, I do deadlifts to lift a big weight off ground, and like, if I wanted to actually train my hamstrings and my glutes, like I do RDLs instead. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I still do heavy RDLs, which is probably like some people would recommend against, but it's like, you know, again, I don't want to be doing sets of like fucking 20 plus, so I'm not going to be doing it with dumbbells.
I'm a bit of masochist and I love a leg extension. Fucking, I love it. Like you get in there and you can see, because you're sitting and you're looking at your own quads and you see the
quads, you can, most of the leg exercises is like on the quads.
Yeah.
And the quads can get super strong and they get a crazy pump.
Yeah.
But then the day
when
after,
you see the deck angle of your own quad, you're like, oh,
but then the day after, you're trying to get off a chair and you're like, uh-oh.
So what I would recommend for a lower body day, start with your hamstring curls. So start with your hamstring curls because it doesn't take anything away from, like, even if you are doing squats, not if you're doing deadlifts, but like if you're doing squats, start with your hamstring curl because it like warms up the joints, gets like the central nervous system going, but it doesn't take much away from the squats specifically for any like.
Yeah.
You know,
so that's all quads basically.
Yeah, and
I do like the Revo. They've got like the sitting hammy curls, but also the laying hammy curls.
Yeah,
and it's like either there's an option there for both, and it's like whenever you see like a dude using the laying hammy curls and the ass is up in there, you're like, what are you doing, buddy?
The laying, the laying hamstring curl is for when I'm there at 1 a.m. in the morning and no one's in the gym.
Well, so I just prefer a seated hamstring curl.
Yeah.
But also like, so the Joondalup Good Life, the laying hamstring curl is perfectly placed. So there's like the walkway, and then there's like the spin class and the like.
Oh, they knew what they were doing.
No, it's perfectly placed in like, so it lines up with the wall that's in between the two classes. So you can't actually see it
Clever.
from either of the classes.
The Revo at Banksy Grove is completely different. They have the laying hamstring curl in front, and then all the bikes behind it. So you get bulk ass dudes riding bikes, watching people do hammy curls. You're like, brother, what is this?
All right, guys, we've got to sign out here. We're at an hour 30 mile past now.
Oh, we done?
Yeah, Northern Boards is going to be open in 10 minutes.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Wayne. Sorry to cut you off. We'll have to to come back around.
It was good
at some
chat.
point.
Of course.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much for jumping on, Wade, as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Hopefully
having
we've
me.
given some sage advice. I don't know if we have, but if we have helped you, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, like that was never the plan.
The truth is, after all this is said and done, go get a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get someone that actually knows what
Get
they're
a
talking
personal
about and
trainer.
can figure something out for you. Because a big part of making gym work is making it fit your life, your schedule, and what your body wants for you.
And doing it in a way that you enjoy.
Correct.
The number one most important thing is doing what you enjoy. So if what you enjoy is going in there and doing nothing but bench press, bicep curls, and leg extensions every single day for 5 sets of 200,
Yeah,
just
fucking
fucking
go
do
at
it.
it, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, keen.
It's
I'm not
better
gonna pay
than
for
not
someone.
doing it.
I'm just gonna follow Wade around his gym and just do whatever. But I'm gonna like pop out from behind machines, like just to see what he's doing. That's my plan.
All right, thank you very much for listening, guys. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, guys.